This is absolutely wild, okay? You have two characters here. You have Venus Williams, which is pretty well known, right? American professional tennis player. She has been ranked as the world number one in women's singles by the WTA for 11 weeks and as the world number one in women's doubles for 8 weeks. I don't know a whole lot about tennis, next to nothing, but we've heard of the character, world famous, right? With her sister Serena Williams. We've heard of them over the years, right? Well, I mean, not so much of Rich Hill. I'm going to show you how these two are trending at the same time and how they're connected, and it's amazing. So I guess this guy's full name is Richard Joseph Hill, but you'll see he goes by Rich Hill, but he's nicknamed Dick Mountain. And as you can tell, this is an American professional baseball pitcher for the Kansas City Royals of the Major League Baseball, right? And he's been on more teams than that, obviously. And I stated this is going to be very amazing. You see, look at this. 45-year-old Venus Williams becomes the oldest woman since Martina Navratilova to win a singles match. See that? Now, I want you to see this. Look at when I go over here. Look at this. Also, Rich Hill trending. Look at that. So he becomes the oldest player in the majors at age 45 with the start against the Cubs. So they're both 45. Look at Williams, Hill, Will Hill. You see that? Venus becomes the oldest woman since Martina to win a singles match. Rich Hill becomes the oldest player in the majors at 45 with the start against the Cubs. You see that? I'm guessing to start a game. I'm guessing. But look, both 45 trending at the same time. Williams and Hill.
Club today. And that is called strike three. Tucker's down looking. First Royals strikeout.
I notice he's got that 35 on his jersey. We've been getting 35 and 53 quite a bit. I haven't necessarily, put together a slide referring to that. There was 35s and 53s in my last breakdown with the Charlie XCX marriage. And 35s, 53s with that breakdown, you can go look if you don't believe me. And there's been some other 53s. I just don't necessarily have them noted. But isn't that wild? And that Charlie XCX breakdown, I forgot to mention, it didn't hit me till late. Malcolm X trending, and I see somebody named Black is trending now for a death. Roy Black, I think. So there's a lot of this color stuff going on. But
Count for Rich Hill and strikeout 1,429 in his big league career.
Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to play a little bit longer of a video here for Venus.
Club today.
Right. Oh, I guess it was the first one right here.
Tennis legend Venus Williams, at 45 years old, etched her name into history books once again by winning a singles match at the 2025 DC Open. she defeated 23-year-old Peyton Stearns 6-3, 6-4 in the first round, making her the second oldest woman in history to win a tour-level singles match, only behind Martina Navratilova, who did so at 47 in 2004. This victory marks Venus's first singles win in nearly 2 years, following a 16-month break from competition due to injuries and health setbacks. Her performance was electric, serving at over 110 miles per hour, smashing aces, and playing aggressive ground strokes that reminded fans of her prime. The 7-time Grand Slam champion also shared emotional reflections, admitting she doubted her readiness but fought through with sheer determination. Before her singles success, Venus returned to action in doubles with partner Hailey Baptiste, securing a dominant 6-3, 6-1 win. With this return, she now holds the record for playing in 32 consecutive pro seasons, surpassing even Navratilova's longevity. Williams, a wildcard entry in the DC tournament, isn't done yet. She hinted at a continued run, saying,
Okay, so I'm not really into the big story here. I didn't even use the Gematrinator calculator. I may at the end.
Club today.
But look at this. So Rich Hill, Venus and Serena's father, their name is Richard Williams. Like Rich Hill. See that? Like they're both 45 here, Venus and Rich. Williams, Will, Hill, Rich Hill. Richard Rich Williams is the father to Venus Williams. What do you think about that? Don't forget Will Smith played Richard Williams in the movie King Richard, which chronicles the early lives of Venus and Serena. Will Smith, Richard Williams, Rich Hill. What is going on? This is all the language. Don't forget the 45. This is all the language. Don't forget Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at 54, the 45 reversed. Moving forward, this actor Demi Singleton, I guess, played Venus. Let's read here. The film also stars Anjanu Ellis as their mother, Aura Sensei Price, and Sania Sidney and Demi Singleton as Venus and Serena, respectively. So I don't know which one. Maybe it looks like how they stated it, Sydney and Demi. So maybe Demi Singleton played Serena. I'm not sure. But look at Singleton. That's interesting because there's singles in tennis. As you see right there, Venus Williams Grand Slams won. And look, it says singles. You see that? And you got that character Singleton. I mean, this stuff is completely by the language. Notice how Venus, it says, has 7 Grand Slams won. Like 70, right? Look at Rich Hill trending with her at the same time. His last birthday, the 70th day of the year. Also, this trending story that I just covered. Look at that. Liverpool, Wrexham, and Wales soccer hero Joey Jones has died at 70. And I just covered that. And I just dropped that video. So you get the 70s like 7. Dude's birthday on the right. This guy on the left dies at 70. You get that 7 like 70. And then you get that single connection with that movie King Richard with that Demi character. And when I look up Demi Singleton, I notice her birthday is just after the father, Richard Williams. You see her birthday, February 27th. Now look at Richard Williams. Look at that. February 20 or February 14, Valentine's Day. So 13 days earlier. You see that? Look at that connection. And he's born in 42 as well. That, Valentine's Day, this all connects to the Cosby Show as well, with 42s over there with that Malcolm Jamal Warner breakdown. And I if I'm not mistaken, another Richard with the W, Richard West. Shout out to you, my friend, my YouTube friend. You connected that 214, I think, in your last video. And that is Arizona's birthday as well as Valentine's Day. And Arizona equals 42. So there's some deep stuff going on here, Richard. There's some deep stuff going on here, and it's not just about these celebrities. That's wild. But you see their birthdays right there. Isn't that amazing? And something else I remember, let's go over here. Look, when you write out 7, you get 70. When you write out 7, you get 70 with that 7 and 70 connection I just showed you with the language. You do get that 25 as we are in the year 25 as well, but I have some more amazing stuff over here. I'm trying not to get too emotionally invested here. I'm just trying to give you the information. So that movie is King Richard. Will Smith plays the father, and you got these characters playing Venus and Serena. King Richard, based on the unknown true story. You have to see to believe. Look at that. Rich Hill plays for the Kansas City Royals like kings. Royalty. Look at that. What do you think about that? Something else with that 45, Venus and Rich. They're saying they're 45 years old. Arizona's last birthday, the 45th day of the year. And I'm not saying Arizona's they're connected by the numbers here and the language. I'm not saying that this article is referring to Arizona. I just showed you Richard Williams, born in 42, Arizona equals 42. He's got the Valentine's Day birthday, which is Arizona's birthday. And, with his daughter Venus, 45, Rich Hill, like Richard Williams, he's 45. And then Arizona's last birthday, the 45th day of the year. That's wild. Kansas City Royals like kings, and you got King Richard with these two characters trending at the same time, Venus Williams and Rich Hill. I want you to see here that her sister Serena Williams, her birthday is one day after Will Smith. Williams, Will Smith plays the father in the movie. Notice how their birthday is one day apart. I think it's T.I., the rapper, that's got the same name or the same birthday as Will Smith, and they look pretty damn similar. I think it's the same birthday. If it's not the same, it's within a couple of days. I think it's the same. Let's go look at that right now. T.I. birthday. Yeah, it's the same, and they slightly resemble each other. It probably depends on the picture you look at. It's not a coincidence. And I think when you put T.I. and Will Smith, when you pull up their images, I think T.I. always has glasses. See, look, T.I.'s always got the glasses, except for that one right there. But a lot of these pics, they have them with the glasses on. So you would never think. And I bet they never tell you they have the same birthday. There's a picture. But they got the same birthday, and I bet there's something fishy going on there. You know what I'm saying? I bet there's something fishy going on there. But let's go back over here. Okay, what about this Martin connection? 45-year-old Venus becomes the oldest woman since Martina Navratilova to win a singles match. Remember that Demi Singleton connection with the actress? Martina like Martin, like Will Smith and Martin, bad boys. And those two obviously are connected. Come on, man. Everything's by the language. Everything's by the language. So, I mean, come on. What's going on here? Isn't that wild? And let's go over here. Okay, it was this character. Demi played Serena, and this character played Venus. Let's just click on her real quick. She's got the October 30th birthday. She's got the S's like Serena. Notice, yeah, isn't that amazing though? With the Serena birthday one day after Will Smith. Isn't that wild? And then this character plays Venus. She's got the S's in her name. You get Demi Singleton playing Serena. Singleton like singles. You see Will Smith over there. This stuff is wild, man. Completely wild. So let's go back over here because I'm not done yet. Shout out to... And you know what sucks? I think YouTube takes this information and at a later date, I think they use it or they give it to some of their sellout characters to utilize. Or maybe when we're not around no more in the future, this info comes out and I don't think we get any credit for it, but that's okay. That's okay because this is from me. This is Matthew O'Connor, Math2Con, Daily Decodes 812, a regular person, a regular decoder with not so regular connections, actually amazing connections. I got this talent and this gift to see this stuff, right? And I'm not expecting anything out of this, but yeah, I believe this information will be getting stolen and presented to the masses in a different form. If it's not at a later date, they give the information to some sellout decoders who maybe need to step their game up and they present it. But it is what it is, right? No sweat off of my back. What about Bill Cosby and Will Smith? Bill Cosby hitting with the Malcolm Jamal Warner RIP. I think they're both connected to Philly as well. But look, Philly, Phil, Will, Bill. Look at the ears. I'm not saying that they're related or anything, but it's interesting because their characters are semi-similar, but Bill Cosby's just really old. But isn't that interesting? Philadelphia, Phil, Will, Bill. Isn't that amazing? Don't forget Uncle Phil and Fresh Prince, Philly to LA. Their ears both are noticeable, but if you could imagine Will Smith at 88 years old, that might be interesting, right? Bill Cosby birthplace, Philadelphia. His birthday was just not long ago, right? Will Smith birthplace, Philadelphia.
According to Wikipedia, the Free Encyclopedia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, U.S. Smith first gained recognition as part of a hip-hop duo with DJ Jazzy.
Not, I just said Will Smith, Cosby, and AI tells me are not the same person. It's like, whoa, why so defensive? AI. Why so defensive? Look at this. It says Fresh Prince is new Cosby. And again, I'm not saying, wow, that's interesting over there, isn't it? Again, I'm not saying they're related or anything, but I mean, you get the Bill and the Will thing with the Philadelphia connection. Isn't that interesting? They're both like, comedians. They're both funny. They're both actors. I think it's interesting. I just really think that's interesting. But I mean, let's go back over here. There's a lot we could do here. But I'm already working with two trending stories here with Venus Williams and Rich Hill. Okay, and I'm going to wrap up the slides with this. Rich Hill, he does have the same birthday as Anthony Davis, and they both at one time were members of LA sports teams. They both got that March 11th birthday. Richard West brought up that March 11th in his last video. I think it was relating to when the basketball league shut down for the pandemic. March 11th. I remember that day vividly. But these two guys got that same birthday, March 11th. They both got this LA connection. So I just thought that was interesting to put that in there. And Richard West brought up Black Lives Matter in his video with a lot of this stuff trending and coming back around right now. And I just noticed some guy named Black died. And there's a lot of this racism stories coming around right now. But I just saw some kind of attorney, I think his name was like Roy Black or Ron Black, something like that, just passed as well. So, wow. WTF. Right? There's a lot going on. Don't forget Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath died as well. So isn't that amazing? I'm just going to go to the calculator real quick. I entered nothing here. Look at Rich has 70. For Rich Hill, that baseball player, and his birthday's on the 70th day of the year. And that soccer player died at 70. I think 7, when we wrote it out, had 70 and 25 also. Isn't that wild? I just want to do this fairly quick because this is more surface level. Look, Venus has that 45 or that 54. Remember, she's age 45. Malcolm Jamal Warner dead at 54. There's that 53 that, remember I mentioned 5335 keeps popping up. There's Charlie XCX's birthday, one of the last breakdowns I did. August 2nd, 8-2, which is also right around the corner. Right there. I'm not even going to put any more. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that right now because this is more like a surface level decode. Venus Williams has 179. Rich Hill's got 79. Rich Hill's got 52. Venus Williams has 53. Remember, Rich Hill's got the 35 on his jersey. 7 Masters. What did it say? Grand Slams. 7 Grand Slams for Venus. Man, that's wild. Completely wild, y'all. Oh, and they're both 45 years old. And we get that 54 right there with Venus. Wow, it's just wild. If you're out there, Richard, or if anybody else wants to run the numbers. It's funny because I could have 200 and whatever subscribers, and it's just me and Richard West who interact with each other. These are just bots. You know what I'm saying? These are just bots. It's cool to see the number go up, but we're not reaching anybody, you know? But every now and then we come across like one or two new people. I guess that's better than nothing. But usually if you have videos, you're going to have comments indicating real people. They're just running the number up. So my number steadily goes up. I see it's like at 226 now on subscribers. But it's just me and Richard West interacting back and forth basically in the comments. So that's how you know this stuff is not real. It's called YouTube. You know, they're soaking up our information. We're not getting no benefits from it, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's, I do it for fun and it's a hobby, but it is a shame that our information doesn't get to where it needs to go, and that's to more people seeing it. But that's fine. So that's these two breakdowns. Rich Hill becomes oldest player in the majors at 45 with the start against the Cubs. Again, I'm not going into the full story. Also 45, Venus Williams, like Hill Williams, becomes the oldest woman since Martina Navratilova to win a singles match. We went over that Demi Singleton character who played her sister in the movie King Richard. Will Smith, who played the father to Venus and Serena in the movie. We had the Bill Cosby connection. Will with Philadelphia. The language, Martina like Martin and Will Smith, bad boys. This stuff is wild. Shout out to y'all. That's all I got right now. That's all, I'm trying to keep cool, trying to keep calm. Until next time, peace.